MacBooks have changed a lot in the last few years, and because of that, buying one has gotten a little bit confusing, so here's a quick guide on which one you should get. So to cut right to the chase, the base model M4 MacBook Air at $1,000 has gotten so good and so affordable that this is going to be the best choice for literally 95% of people. And that even includes people who do pro-level work. Let me explain. So in the previous generations, the MacBook Pro has always been way faster than the MacBook Air, but recently that just hasn't been the case. Here we have the MacBook Pro. It has the M4 processor and 16 gigabytes of RAM for $1,600. But then you have the Air with the M4 and 16 gigs of RAM for $1,000. This new M4 chip that's on both of these models is so insanely powerful and power efficient, it will handle anything you throw at it, whether that's Lightroom, video editing, whatever you do, this chip will be able to handle it. And yes, even the cheaper MacBook Air will handle all these pro level tasks, no problem. Who is the Pro for then if the Air is so good? Well, the MacBook Air is passively cooled, meaning there's no fans in it, while the Pro has a fan that could cool it down. This means that even though they have the same processor and can handle the same amount of tasks, the MacBook Pro can do it for longer over extended periods of time. For most people, including me, whenever you're rendering a video or doing something intensive, you're only doing it for a few minutes where your computer's really having to work, and the MacBook Air passive cooling can keep up with that. But if you're doing pro level video rendering and editing for hours on end a day, you might want that active cooling from the Pro to take full advantage of that processor. Long story short, the base model MacBook Air has pretty much the same level of power as the Pro. The Pro can just sustain that level of power for longer if you're doing those really intensive tasks for long times throughout the day. There's a few extra smaller differences in the Pro, like a little bit higher base storage, 2 extra GPU cores, and a higher refresh rate screen. But to me, those things aren't worth alone considering upgrading, especially for $600 more. Even for me, somebody that makes videos and edits for a living, the M4 Air has been more than enough that I need, and I didn't really even consider upgrading to the Pro, and this thing's been incredible. The only complaint some folks have with the base model Air is the 256 gig storage. That being said, iCloud does a really good job triaging your storage to the cloud, so you won't probably need much more than this, but you can upgrade that for a few extra $100 if you need to. And then for the sake of completion, there's 2 more models worth considering for those really high-end folks. We're talking like the 1% of people. First up is the same MacBook Pro, but upgrading the chip to the M4 Pro chip. This is gonna be specifically for people who do graphics-based things like rendering video or CAD for work. It has a much more souped up graphics processor and more RAM, and it's only $2,000 compared to the $1,600 in the base model MacBook Pro. Again, I can't express how already good the base models are, but if you need something a little bit more heavy duty for work, this would be your next step up, the M4 Pro. And then if you need the absolute best of the best, again, specifically when it comes to graphics rendering, you're doing this as your literal job, you want the M4 Max. This is essentially 2 M3 processors sandwiched together, and it is ungodly powerful, but you probably don't need this unless you know you need it. Anyway, long story short, you should probably just get the base model MacBook Air M4, even though it is the base model and it is the Air. It can handle almost anything you throw at it. Even me, who does video editing and stuff for a living, this thing absolutely crushes it. It's only $1,000. Hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.